Hi guys, Zach here with another Command & Conquer Red Alert video. In this game I'm playing a free-for-all match on the map Destruction Derby. I'm starting in the top left corner, playing as the Soviets. Now for those of you who know this map, you'll know there's a gem island in the middle, so that's an island with lots of gems on, which only one player really can access at a time because there's a small bridge leading to that island. And if someone can take control of the island and survive, it does give them a massive advantage. Although it's not always advisable in a free-for-all match, especially if you're playing with players who are familiar with the map, because everyone's going to attack the person who goes to the middle, because they'll know if they don't, then they're going to definitely, the person in the middle is going to win, and they're not going to win if they leave them. Now, from my starting position, I've got a lot of ore patches near me. I've got 2 ore patches to the left of me, and I've got another one to the right, just a bit away from my base, which I'm going to build towards. And because I've got ore patches, I am going to go for my second ore refinery before I go for my second war factory. And that's just generally the play I go for on this map. Now, the top left position, it's alright in terms of ore. There are 2 decent ore patches. There is an ore patch I can expand to the right. I wouldn't say it's the best position to start from, but it is a decent position. And you can see I'm just placing my next ore refinery at that second ore patch. And I'm going to start building my second war factory right now. The good thing, though, about starting in the top left position is there's very few players who tend to attack you. Because the people who are located directly below, in the lower part, well, there tends to be a lot of cliffs in the left side of the map. So it's very hard to move upwards to my position. So that usually discourages the players in the bottom left from attacking the top left. And that gives you a good advantage, especially in a free-for-all, because it means you're less likely to be attacked. So even though it's not maybe the best in terms of ore supplies, it certainly is good tactically in terms of how long you might be able to survive for. And what you can see now is I'm just building some small power plants and just crawling towards that ore patch to the right of my base. The reason I want to do that and use multiple ore patches is because I don't want all my ore trucks on the same ore patch, else it will become depleted very quickly and then I'll need to move on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move to the right now, just to see, because you can see I've built my tank numbers up. These are heavy tanks as I'm playing Soviets. And I'm just going towards this right position to see what's going on. And yep, and what we can see is there's actually quite a bit of fighting. So you can see the red player has gone to attack the blue player. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my tanks back because it's a free-for-all match and I don't really want to get involved. If the red player is attacking to the blue player, then I want him to use up as many tanks as I want him to use up more tanks, so he's weaker to attack me. And if it's the blue player who gets the better of him, then the blue player is probably more likely to go down to the red space to attack him, rather than go across to mine since I haven't shown him aggression. Now what you can see is I did go to the island with gems, and you could see the bridge was destroyed, so there was obviously a player who knew about that, and he just sent an infantryman there to destroy the bridge, so no other players could use it. And that's really important for me to know, because it means I don't need to rush and make a MCV to get to that middle spot immediately. And you can see the yellow players there, so what I'm doing is I'm pulling my tanks back, and I'm going to group them together before I attack. If I send them in one at a time, then they will be easily picked off. So it's always better to send your tanks in as a group rather than individual ones. And what you'll see here is I'm just moving around. These are light tanks, so they're very weak compared to the heavy tanks, and you can see how easily they were destroyed because the other player wasn't moving them around. So he was maybe just not paying attention there when I initially attacked. I'm also getting that radar dome, which is going to be very important because I want to keep an eye on what's happening to the top right of the map. Because if that player in the top right is defeated, then the red may come to my base, and that'll cause some problems. And I can see that red is using light tanks. So what I'm probably going to need to do is just build some Tesla coils in my base, just as a deterrent, because Tesla coils are extremely strong against light tanks, because I think they can one hit them, so hit them with destroy them in one charge. And you can see the yellow player has been destroyed. So what I'm going to do immediately now is I'm going to go and attack the red player, because he looks to be the next strongest player. Well, to be the strongest player in this game. And since I've got some tanks at the bottom of the map, I might be able to surprise him here. And you can see he's got some more trucks in that bottom left, which are undefended. I'm just going to need to be a bit careful because I'm pulling some of the tanks from my base, but they're going into those tanks located at that bridge. And here I should be able to get these ore trucks. So you can see he's pulling them out now, but I've been able to get, well, hopefully at least 2. And I'm just going to destroy that blue MCV there that you can see that's been built. And I think I managed to get 2 ore trucks in the end. And I've also managed to build a Tesla coil, because you could see he had some light tanks up there destroying my ore trucks. And this is looking very, very good at the moment. You can see I'm getting rid of those. And you can see he's pulling more and more tanks back to his base. And I have done quite a bit of damage. You can see that blue there has not managed to get that extra MCV. And you can see red's managed to destroy my ore trucks. So what he did is he just took them out of range of my Tesla coils and left them there so they'd automatically fire down on my ore trucks. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go for that construction yard. And if he doesn't have a service depot, then what that means is he won't be able to build any more buildings, which will give me a major advantage. And you can see those tanks are going to be wiped up there, but I think I've gained a lot of value there. As you can see, I was a bit careless in this top side of the map. I almost lost my MCV. Luckily I've spotted it early enough, and I've now got a Tesla coil there, which will make it harder for light tanks to come and take it out unnoticed. So you can see I'm just regrouped my forces back together, and I think red and blue are fighting, because earlier red attacked blue, so I think blue have it in for them. And that's why I didn't join the fight earlier on, because I didn't really want to make an enemy of blue. I wanted them to fight with red. And sometimes, like in free-for-alls, you don't want to make too many enemies, because at the end of the day, it's every person for themselves. You make too many enemies, and then you sometimes get a bit swamped. And you can see this fights quite easily. I'm outnumbering their opponent quite easily with tank numbers here, and they were quite easy to take out. And I'm just continuing to build things at my old base. And what we can see now is I'm just having a look, see where my enemy is. I'm probably going to need to deal with those tanks before they get into the base. And you can see my heavy tanks are coming up now. I don't know whether they're going to go for the ore trucks. And they seem to have got a little bit caught in the middle there. And yeah, it's looking very, very good for me. I don't know if he's went and focused on something else, but it's looking very good for me. A lot of those tanks have gone down and got really little to no value. And as we can see, those have been pretty much wiped up off. So now what I can do is I can focus on the base. You can see he's moving that tank to the left. But I think what he's trying to do is he's trying to waste a bit of time by hoping that I'll send my own army, whole army after him.
Unit ready. Building.
And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sell those ore refineries and rebuild them so I can get my ore supplies back up.
Construction complete. Unit ready. Building.
And to be honest, at this time in the game, it's starting to look better and better for me.
Unit ready. Building.
So what we're going to do is we're going to pull these tanks down for the top side of the base and see what's going on at this side, and you can see there's 2 ore trucks there, so I'm going to try and take those out immediately. We've got one, and it looks like we're going to get the second one as well, and that's really going to hurt the red player, because he's going to need to build them using the war factory, which he's probably got 2 of at this stage, so it will take a lot of time. And this is looking very, very good for me at the moment. I'm whittling down that tank force. We do have medium tanks here. Now, you wouldn't usually fight like through a narrow gap like this, because it is very hard to fit through, but in this case, I mean, we outnumbered them, and you don't have many choices on this map of where you attack, because there are a lot of narrow gaps. And what I'm doing is, as I build more tanks, I'm just going to bring them down. You can see he's got a couple of tanks around the map. I don't quite know what he's using them for. And you can see that infantry is not going to it's not going to cause any real major issues. And you can see my my tanks have been pulled down to this point. And we should be easily able to clear up those 3 tanks. And he's pulling them back. And you can see he's had to build another ore truck, and that ore truck's being built instead of tanks. And we've destroyed that one also. And you can see this is looking really, really good for me. I think it's pretty much going to be game over soon enough.
Cannot deploy here.
Because what you can see is that red just has nothing to defend with, and we're just going to destroy his buildings, the ore refineries, the war factories, the power plants. Everything that he uses is just going to get destroyed at the moment. And what we can see is that it's being called good game as we destroy these last few buildings, and you can see it's sold up. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed the video.